The number one hurdle for most buyers has been the level of inventory. There are going to be new homes on the market. People are always going to, for one reason or another, need to sell their home. And there are people who need to buy a home.
See the house, you love the house, make a move on the house. Woo! Hey, what's happening? Luciano, Cruz, Purple Agent coming at you. We are at Bridges in Griffith, Indiana, and I'm here with my guy, Sean Conley. And we're going to talk a little bit about predictions for buying a home in 2023 from a real estate agent perspective and the lender's perspective. Right?
Great, yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Here we go. I want to thank you for watching my channel. If you like this content, please subscribe so you get notifications. Make a comment, like this video. I appreciate it. All right, Sean?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So what we're going to do, I wanted to get together with Sean Conley. He's with Lake Mortgage in Maryville, Indiana. We wanted to talk about predictions for home buying in the year coming up, 2023. So we'll take it away, Sean.
Well, you know, like we both experienced over the last, let's just call it 2 years, the number one hurdle for most buyers has been the level of inventory that's been on the market.
Definitely.
It seems like we've had lots of people who can qualify for homes,
Right.
Lots of people who want to buy homes, and lots of people that want to sell homes. But it just doesn't seem to be enough people wanting to sell homes.
Well, coming off where we were a little bit briefly is just interest rates were super, super low before in 20, 21, 22, then a midpoint. Then we started seeing them rising interest rates due to inflation that we know about and everything like that. We kind of know where we're at as far as rates right now. Sean, you want to give a little synopsis?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, the beginning of 2022, January, the 30-year fixed interest rate was at 3.25%. And at this point right now, it's at around 6.25%.
6.25%.
So
and wait, it was creeping up a little bit, and am I correct in where it started coming back down?
So in October of this year, interest rate peaked at about 7%. And that was really the point in the market that we saw things really, really start to slow down.
Right.
So there was a really big shift starting probably in September of this year,
Right.
where buyers really hit pause and said, wait a minute,
Right.
now the interest rates are really starting to get high. Maybe I should take a step back and think about whether or not I want to buy this house.
Right. And then people were afraid, thinking like, not maybe a little afraid, but they were thinking, oh, I'll just wait because interest rates are going to come back down. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. Like we were talking a little bit before, is like, if anything, we're going to see slight movements in interest rates going down and fluctuating depending on consumer index consumer index and inflation.
So the Federal Reserve has come out and basically told the market that they are going to keep interest rates, their Fed fund rate, at a certain level for a while. Typically, when they cut their Fed fund rate, it has an effect, a reduction effect, in mortgage interest rates, even though they're not the same rate.
Right.
We do see some impact from that rate being cut. But they have to fight inflation right now. In order to fight inflation, they have to keep their rate elevated for probably all of 2023. My thought and what I'm seeing is that we're probably going to see rates in the 6% range for 2023.
Okay. And that's not super, super terrible. You know what I mean?
It's not terrible at all. Historically, 30-year fixed interest rates have been somewhere between 5 and 6%,
Right.
if you look at it on a long enough time horizon.
Right.
And
so everybody's just, because what happened, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we can go back and forth like that, but you know, with the interest rate being so low for so long, it was too low for too long.
that's correct.
And
That's
now it's rising up, it rose, and now it's just stabilizing. There's a lot of, you know, corrections going on just to stabilize the market and just to normalize the situation, right?
Well, and with the interest rates from 2020 and until 2022 being in the 2.5% to 3% range, it did have an effect on housing values and an inflation of housing values. So those housing values do have to come down somewhat.
Right. Right.
I mean, we have a market that we went from someone being able to get into a house and have a payment for about $1,200 a month. By October, that same payment was almost $1,800
Right.
a month. So that's a really, really big, jump in monthly payment. And how many people does that affect their ability to even afford a house?
Definitely. It's very impactful, and what we're seeing now currently are more price reductions. Inventory is definitely still a problem across the board, even though, like we were talking about before, we think that where we are in Northwest Indiana, things are still somewhat healthy.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely. But unlike earlier in the year and last year for sure, during negotiations and for a home, it wouldn't be you had a couple of days to look at a house. You had to write that offer right now, and
you had to bring the contract with you.
You had to bring the contract with you, and you had to have the best offer possible. Bring your best and highest offer to the table.
Raising it up so much over list, just insanely over list.
There was no negotiation for closing costs. It was you better come over list price in order to get this house.
Take it. We're not fixing anything. Take it. And that was not fair. But this time they were like, hey, they tell me we were at a place and it's Monday. Hey, I want to see this house. And I'm like, well, when do you want to go see it next? Like Wednesday? What are you free? No, before I was like, let's run. We got to go over there now.
Don't walk, run.
There's a line of people outside waiting and everything. No. It's totally different now. So you at least have that luxury to just breathe and decide and not feel the pressure overpaying. It's never good to do that because when you go to try to sell it, home values have come down, and then where are you at? You're upside down. You're gonna lose if you're overpaying for a house. You never want to do that kind of stuff. And is throw that much money over list price. Price the house correctly, and you won't have any problems. I mean, that's why you're seeing more price reductions. Homes are staying on the market longer, so that gives the buyer more power, more time, more opportunity to negotiate and just take things at a normal pace rather than the hectic behaviors that we were seeing over the past couple of years.
And to your point about negotiating, as far as the importance of having your own representation as a first-time home buyer, especially now that negotiation is back on the table and it's just not about who's bringing the highest price to the table. It's really important for first-time home buyers to reach out and connect with a professional real estate agent, a buyer's agent who can help them so that they can have that representation, so they know that someone is looking out for their best interest during the real estate transaction.
That's why when we get together, we call ourselves what?
Purple Lake.
The Purple Lake, right? I'm the Purple Agent, and he's the Lake Mortgage.
I'm with Lake Mortgage.
Can I get a little bump on
that?
Purple Lake. But I don't know. I mean,
2023 is going to be definitely a different market. We are still, both of us agree that we are probably still going to see some inventory constraint. There'll be a little more inventory, but it's not like we're going to all of a sudden have 6 months worth of inventory overnight, which is really the level of a normal marketplace. But if we can make it through this year, right, things will eventually, and the experts are saying that by 2024, rates should really start to come down. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to find your house.
Right?
There are going to be new homes on the market. People are always going to, for one reason or another, need to sell their home. And there are people who need to buy a home, right? And so if you find that home, it should be, if you find that home, you should buy that home, right?
Because what? You can always
refinance when rates come down.
Say what? Don't marry the
rate. Marry the home. Marry the home, right?
Marry the home because you could always refinance later. It's not going to be like that forever, So that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing.
Don't be scared. I think a lot of people just pay attention to the news, pay attention to a lot of cynicism out there, and talk to a professional and maybe you want to get a couple opinions because maybe you'll speak to someone and they're a cynicist too, right?
Right.
That's not going to really kind of do you really should just talk to me.
Right?
You should really just talk to me, and you really should talk to this guy because we're honest. We're not deceitful, and there you go.
We're honest. We want to help you find the house for you. We're back into a market that is not so crazy, and you feel rushed, like you have to have the house right now because there might not be another house.
Right.
You are going to be able to negotiate for a home in 2023, which means you're going to put yourself in a better position than potentially you would have in 2021 or even this year in 2022.
So with 2023 coming around the corner, there's gonna be a little bit of constricting going on as far as inventory and rates and all that stuff. But the bottom line is, like Sean said, you see the house, you love the house, make a move on the house. You have time to do some things. Again, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but inventory is still going to be a problem. The rates are still questionable, but still affordable. Don't pay attention to cynics out there that are painting doom and gloom. Do your research. If you don't want to do the research, again, talk to a professional, and we can counsel you on the correct information that's up there.
That's correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Very well said.
Take your time. Nothing's going nowhere. The interest rates are here. Maybe they'll go here. Maybe they'll go slightly here. Just get with a professional and make a move in the right direction that fits you.
Right. We can help to make sure that you put yourself in the best position for you or you and your family so that you don't end up buyer's remorse.
Suffering. Eating Pringles.
No ramen noodles.
No, you want to be comfortable. So that's in a nutshell. I mean, as far as what I have to say as far as next year.
I think it's going to be a great year.
I know I'm looking for a great year. I'm going to be on the sidelines. I've been out, not really doing a lot of social media video type things, but I'm out there. I've always wanted to, and I think things are going in that direction. So I'm super proud that I'm going to be out there providing information, sharing knowledge, and making contacts with people that need help from somebody that's authentic and has nothing but their client's best interest.
That is you.
Definitely. You're the same way too. So
I can't wait to help you and help you or your friends and family in 2023 find a home.
And I know they can contact me, Luciano Cruz Real Estate at gmail.com or 630-200-6800. And you can contact Sean
at Conley at lakemortgage.com or 219-769-5941.
You can just Google me, Luciano Cruz. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's it. Luciano Cruz, Purple Agent.
The Purple Agent.
I got you.